All right, now that the schedule is out, we can get into some NFL season predictions. Let's start this week with which team will go from last to first this season. Over the last 4 years, we've seen Washington in 2020, Bengals in 2021, Jaguars in 2022, and the Texans last year go from last to winning the division. With that said, what team will go from last to first this season?
Come
Here are your-
on! I already
yeah,
know which one he's gonna go with.
let me give you the options before he
I just
answers.
yeah.
Yeah, Chargers, Titans, Panthers, Bengals, Cardinals, Patriots, Commanders, and Bears. All right, Gilbert, it's your floor.
All right, you know what? I'll make a rule right here. We can't pick the Bengals. We got to make it interesting, okay? Everybody's going on the no Bengals, okay? We all will pick them, okay? So to put some pressure on you guys,
I wonder who Gilbert will choose.
what do you think? Because
The Bears. I'm not dumb.
No, I really like the Lions though. They're not going to win the division. That's why I like. That's what the question is, right? From first to last. So
Yes.
I don't see them topping the Lions. So I will
Come on,
go.
they only have three other choices.
I'm going with the Commanders. Obviously, I like the Eagles to win the division, but I will go with the Commanders because honestly, I like what the new GM Adam Pearce did this offseason. He got a bunch of players who could actually play and fill roster holes. They're not household names, they're not star players, but when you're a rebuilding franchise, the thing you get in trouble with is you just spend a bunch of money and then you get screwed over with the cap space. You get desperate and you get overboard. But he took chances, underrated players like Dorrance Armstrong didn't get to play behind Michael Parsons. It didn't cost him a lot, so he gave him some money to play with Dan Quinn, who he knows. He got Dante Fowler, Cleveland Farrell, who didn't do much as a top 5 pick, but he's an underrated run defender and he can rush the passer. It's a good rotation. You got Bobby Wagner, you got Frankie Lubo.
What?
You got Jeremy Chin. They actually now have a defense. Like the last year for Ron Rivera, I feel bad for him, but he had crappy defense. Now you got guys who could actually play and guys who know Dan Quinn's scheme. So it could be a quicker adjustment phase. At the big key here. Remember last time you asked me who to put the farm on to be Rookie of the Year? I went Jayden Daniels, so maybe you shouldn't be so surprised. I don't know what Austin Eckler has left, but he's a friendly pass catcher out of the backfield to help out. I like Scary Terry. I got to see more from Jahan Dotson. The offensive line really kind of worries me. The play caller worries me too in Cliff Kingsbury. But Jaden's one of those guys where like if you're gonna be a mobile quarterback and they don't know how to play you, you could make some trouble against the defense because when they see you second time around, that's when you get in trouble with guys like that. But he's gonna be a rookie. I don't feel confident, but you asked me a question. I will rather go with the Commanders here to beat the Eagles and the Cowboys. No Bengals.
That's really interesting. I thought you would go with the Bears, but yeah, you're on the what's it called? You're on the Detroit Lions bandwagon. I'm gonna go with the Tennessee Titans. Man, there's something about the Houston Texans that I just don't trust right now. I think everybody is gonna have a year to prepare for them. Everybody's had a full off season. Having Joe Mixon and Stephon Diggs in the same locker room, there's a lot of question marks I have there. Tennessee's added a lot of good pieces. You look at L'Jarius Sneed, obviously. He struggled in the playoffs, I think, but I think he'll be able to do just fine. Their defensive coordinator, I can't remember his name right now, but he's from Baltimore, I believe. Is that a yes? Yeah. He's from Baltimore. So obviously he's gonna know obviously about tough nose defenses, all that.
Anthony Weaver, I forget.
It was their I can't remember right now.
Oh, he might be the Miami one. Never mind.
Oh yeah,
is it Denard Wilson? There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Calvin Ridley joined. Tony Pollard. We'll see what he has. Awuzie joined. Cushenberry joined. So you have some pieces there. I know everybody wants me to say Kenneth Murray, but I will not. But I think that the Titans, the thing is the Will Levis thing is going to kind of be the man. If they had Derrick Henry with all these weapons, and I really would say, damn, okay, they got something. But I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. I think, and the problem is that the Chargers, obviously, the Chiefs are still at the top. The Panthers get real. The Cardinals, only Gilbert believes in them. The Patriots, I can't. And the Bears, the only reason is the Lions, and then obviously I have some question marks about Caleb Williams. I don't think he's a slammed. And you know what? It's not even the questions that I have on Caleb Williams. I think I have more questions about the coaching staff. And that's kind of the similar questions that I have about the Raiders as well. That, like, I know that the Bears went on a hot streak towards the end. The Raiders kind of went on a hot streak, but now that honeymoon phase is kind of over. Well, and they're different teams, but I think that the Titans kind of might be able to do something. And then Callahan's always been great with the Bengals. He's always done a really good job with the defense or with the offense. And I really think that the Titans could be a team that can turn around. No, I didn't do this because Vic last week had them as one of his surprise teams. But yeah, he had him as a surprise team. Gilbert had 4 surprise teams, but
kills one eventually.
I have the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I'm with you, Fernando. I'm giving you the point there, and with what you said, I mean, also take into consideration, as I talked about with the AFC South, we've seen it with the Texans the year before and the Jaguars. And then that Texans, I was looking at that Texans, and we'll get into it later on with the schedule. I mean, that's a tough schedule for the Texans as well. I do like the Commanders, your pick there as well, Gilbert, but I just think that's a gauntlet to go through the Cowboys and the Eagles as well. But one of the things we've seen with the NFC East is that there's been the past 18 years, there's been a different winner of that division. So you're onto something there, Gilbert, but I just think, the Titans are most prime there just because, of what they've done. And like I said too, the team that spent the most money, during the offseason usually, ends up gaining 3 or more wins. So I'm with you guys, and I appreciate you guys not going with the Bengals, because that would have been the answer, honestly.
I don't even think so.
It's tough either way. They got Baltimore.
What's the name said on the Pat McAfee show, Darius Butler, that he had the same hand injury as Burrow, and that they make you throw, like, he's like, I had to change he's like, and I'm not even a quarterback. I had to change the way I did a lot of things. His hand is going to be completely different next year, so we'll see how he does. But I don't know. I don't trust the Bengals as much as and there seems to be a lot of tension there with T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson and all that. So that's not a good recipe. But my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's a good point by you. All right, up 1-0 here, Fernando. What is the most bizarre schedule quirk this season? The Chiefs playing on 6 of the 7 days of the week, or the Giants and Cowboys playing both their matchups on Thursday? Both have not happened in almost 100 years.
So the Cowboys are playing on a Thursday night football game against them, and then they're playing again on Thanksgiving Day against them?
Yeah, both matchups this season between the Giants and Cowboys are on Thursday, and then the Chiefs are playing. The only day they're not playing out of the week is on a Tuesday.
On Tuesday. By the way, schedule makers, do you guys not listen to me? Nobody cares about the Giants and the Cowboys. Stop putting that shit on TV. Nobody cares about that. God, I hate it. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. That's a lot of different days that they're going to be playing games like that. And down the stretch, that's going to take. See, the thing is that I feel like at one point that has to take effect into your team. And I understand everybody's going to be like, no, the Chiefs are different. They have a different mentality, this, that. Yeah, but the last 4 years, they've gone deep into the playoffs. They're at one point that all catches up with you. That's going to be a gauntlet in and of itself. And then the teams that they're playing, it's not going to be easy. Even when they play the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's not going to be easy. They have a tough-nosed defense. There's a lot of teams that they play that is going to be very tough to watch. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs playing all those games. I mean, they're playing on Christmas. They're playing on Black Friday. They're playing a lot of different days. Why? Because the Chiefs are the most interesting team. And oh, hey, guess what? They have Taylor Swift behind them. I think that's one of the driving forces behind all this. And now there's rumors that supposedly they made their schedule around her. And the reason why I think that is true is because the schedule maker was on the Dan Patrick show, one of them. And he's like, no, that's just a coincidence. My huevos, that it's a coincidence. Like, we all know that was true. So there's only like 3 games where she'll have to miss. but the rest of them she's gonna go unless her and what's the name break up within the next couple months. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
So you're saying the Chiefs don't get all the breaks, huh? Apparently, there's no Chiefs favoritism or help here. Where's Dan and Diego when you need them, man? They do have a tough schedule. They got to play every day of the week, pretty much. So, Dan, where are you for this one? But whatever. Honestly, I would have gone with the Chiefs, but just to be a little different. It's weird that they get the 2 Thursday games. The Giants and the Cowboys. Honestly, like they made me pick all the games in the NFC.
I hate them.
I had the Giants being the Cowboys like one time. I don't remember, it's Thanksgiving or early in the season, and people lost it in the comments on social media when SI posted it. Like, no way, the Cowboys are going to lose to the Giants. We every year like divisional rivals beat each other up. Like you just never know. So shut up, people. People are crying all the time. Having fun with the predictions, but Thursday it's a weird wrinkle, I guess. It's also a little weird that a lot of teams got 2 Thursday night games, sometimes 3. So it's just the NFL trying to keep the
And
Cowboys
the Chargers got like none.
yeah, got none. So like the Cowboys, I think I'm not too surprised. It's a little weird though, but like Fernando said, it's too much fatigue with the NFC East and the Cowboys. But for the league to find ways to keep them on prime time, what's the best way to do it? Thursday, because all those games are on prime time.
Yeah, I'm with you, Gilbert. I think the 2 Thursdays games. I mean, we are we surprised that the Chiefs would be playing? I'm surprised they're not playing. All week long. Like they didn't find a way to put them on Tuesday with 2 Thursday games. That kind of it just seems weird to me. I mean, you couldn't have find a quirk there, like find a one of those. The other one was the Eagles, which I'll get to. The Eagles and Cowboys don't get a primetime game for the first time since 1983. That one was also weird. So
Yeah, but they get that 425. I mean, 125 game, America's game of the week, and that kind of counts, I guess.
yeah, that's true. But I just thought this one was a weird one. Was a Thursday one. All right, tied up 1-1 here as we go to the third question. Jared Goff became the latest QB to join the $50 million per season club, joining Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, and Lamar Jackson. By the start of the season, which of these quarterbacks will be the highest paid quarterback? Will it be Tua, Dak, Brock Purdy, Matthew Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, or Jordan Love? Remember, right?
We're just these guys, right? Not like
These
you're not gonna
guys,
pass
no,
Patrick Mahomes or anything,
no,
right?
from these guys, who will be the highest
Uh,
paid quarterback come the beginning of the season? Because they're all up for new contracts.
well, Brock Purdy, not really. It's gonna be year 3, and you can't make a contract until after year 3. So I'm not gonna have him on here. Matthew Stafford could be on a short-term deal because he's in the back end of his career. You know what? I got it. It's gonna be Trevor Lawrence. I kind of want to go Jordan Love. You know what? I'll change my answer here because I think Trevor Lawrence hasn't proved it enough. He has probably the most upside. I think I still believe in the upside, but I just haven't seen it. So I think the Packers saw what Jordan Love did a year ago and just said, "F it, that's enough. We gotta lock up this guy here." And Miami might cave because of Tua is still on the younger side. But Dak, you already seen enough. Like, okay, no more of this. Getting out a bunch of money. Maybe he might not get it. But Jordan Love is very young. Had his first year as a starter. Kind of like a weird quirk because he didn't play his first 3 years, and now you have to pay the guy. He proved himself right away. So I think the Packers won't mess around. They'll lock him up. They'll make him one of the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Like if you give Jared Goff 50 mil, you better give I think Jordan Love the amount or the same or maybe more because in terms of upside and skill set and in age, he has all that on his side. But honestly, like maybe for now you could take away from here, but like Jordan Love in that 1 year, did he already have a better year than whatever Trevor Lawrence has done? Because I don't remember a year where Lawrence was that good. Like I like him, he has upside, but I gotta have a Lawrence here where like that guy's a stud. He's gonna be an MVP candidate. We just haven't had it.
Dak to I think I can't choose Tua because it seems like Miami wants to put a lot of different things in in his contract to protect themselves, which I would too. Who did you go with? Trevor Lawrence?
No, I switched in the middle of my sentence. Jordan Love.
Oh wow. You know what? I'll go Trevor Lawrence just because it seems like what's the name? Doug Peterson just came out and said that they're working very hard to do it. So I think they really want Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, there's a lot of question marks about him, and what he's going to be moving forward. But I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence. I think he's the next quarterback to get paid. He has that one playoff win. Obviously, they took the Chiefs to the end of the game. But I think he's still writing off that a little bit, and I think he'll be the next guy paid for sure.
Yeah, I would have given you the point there, Fernando, but you said he's the next one to get paid. I was asking who would be the highest paid by the beginning of the season, and I
Oh,
would think that Jordan Love is going to be the one that gets paid right before the season starts. So I'm going to give the point there just to be fair to Gilbert because that was the question there. So now moving on, Gilbert up 2-1 here, Fernando. Which team has the toughest schedule this season? The Steelers or the Bills? And let me just give you some notes here just to kind of help you out with your decision here, Fernando. The Bills get three playoff teams in their first four games, three consecutive, all of which are on primetime. Buffalo plays four primetime games in the first 6 weeks at the Dolphins, Jaguars, Ravens, Jets, and they also play the Texans in a 1 p.m. game in that stretch. The Steelers don't play an AFC North opponent until week 11. Pittsburgh plays six AFC North opponents in the final 8 games, with the non-divisional game sandwich in between them being the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Go ahead, Fernando.
um, I'll go with the Steelers. Not having to play an AFC North opponent until week 11. Then obviously you still in the middle of when you do get to play all of them. It's going to be Philadelphia, Kansas City. Obviously division games mean a lot. By that time, we won't know who the quarterback is. It might be Justin Fields. It might still be Russell Weirdo. We don't know what's going to happen. So I definitely think the Steelers have the tougher schedule. That's why I said before the season started, I think Russell Wilson's going to do something that no other quarterback's been able to do, and that's cost this fool cost him Mike Tomlin a winning record or a winning season just because I just don't see. I see that they have some good players, but the quarterback position is just the biggest question mark. And then you're hearing stuff out of Chicago where they're saying that Nick Foles and whoever else the other backup quarterback was at the time, I can't remember his name. They try to sit down with Justin, and Justin's like, "No, I'm good. I got it. No, don't trip. I got this. That. Okay. Well, I have the Steelers having a tougher schedule because they're going to take a beating when it comes to all these teams that they're going to suddenly have to play. They play teams tough, but I still think that it's going to be very hard down that stretch.
By week 11, I would not be surprised if Justin Fields is a starting quarterback for the Steelers. I still don't understand why they really are high on Russell Wilson to be the starter and not even compete, but whatever. And honestly, I probably would have gone with the Steelers because that's a very difficult schedule in the back half of the schedule. But you know what? I can make an argument for the Bills here because they are going through an adjustment period without Stephon Diggs, without a lot of core guys on defense, like the veteran guys that they all cut and released, like two new safeties, a couple of linebackers, a couple of guys on the defensive front. So those early games, like the first 4 months of the season in prime time, like it's a lot of pressure for them to gel quickly and find chemistry. A lot of young guys got to step up too. Like that's where Josh Allen's gonna have to make his money. Like for a lot of times, Josh Allen has to be the hero, for the playoff stretch and things like that. But like he's got to be on it right away. And honestly, I think the Bills could be better. And I made this argument before without Stephon Diggs because that makes Josh Allen be at ease. And when he plays hero ball, he gets in trouble. So maybe get the system going, run the football with James Cook, get Dalton Kincaid involved, get your new weapons involved, Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman, the guy who shops at Macy. So it's tough to get people acclimated and going, but I think this might be good in the end for Josh Allen. So it's good and bad, but it's tough for them because you could easily lose a couple games, maybe three. But last year we saw them have a slow start and they still caught up.
Yeah, you guys made some great points on both teams there. And honestly, what it comes down to, as Fernando pointed out, I think with the Steelers, I mean, that end of that schedule is just tough. Like, they're going to have to get on a roll just to be able to, like get to a good start, just to be able to keep Mike Tomlin's streak of winning seasons in place there. And so that's why I give here the point to Fernando because I think it's, they got to get out to like a 7-2 somewhere in that because that back end, those final 8 games are just brutal. I
I think the
mean,
Jets have a tough go out of it too.
yeah,
Mhm.
they're in that same spot too. But all right, guys, last question for just to wrap this up here, and it has to do with another. What is the most odd primetime schedule quirk this season? The Eagles and Cowboys not having a standalone game for the first time since 2003, or the Jets becoming the first team in NFL history to have 6 primetime games in the first 11 weeks of the season.
Ugh. I think what Fernando has with the Cowboys, I have with the Jets. Like, I don't care about the New York Jets. Like, who asked for this? Who said, you know what? We're patiently waiting for Aaron Rodgers to get healthy because we really missed it last year. I didn't miss crap. I just saw Zach Wilson, have terrible games. They were so boring. I'm over it, Fernando. I don't know why you care about Aaron Rodgers. Like, is he even good? He's about to be 41 years old. Like, he couldn't last on that turf, and now you're gonna ask him to do it again. The NFL's playing with fire, trying to put this team on prime time, trying to make them a thing. But you're relying on an old quarterback. You're relying on old tackles. You're relying on Mike Williams to stay healthy. They're getting risky. If it works out and he plays well, then okay, maybe it'll be fun. But I got fatigue already, and they didn't even play a season. So, uh, to me, I guess for me, what is the question was the quirk, right? So I forget what it was. But I'm just tired of the Jets, and that's my response there.
Aaron Rodgers says naughty things and people just hate him. It's so funny. People used to love Aaron Rodgers. Now everybody hates him.
You didn't suffer last year. Can he stay healthy? I suffered with Zach Wilson.
Well, but you suffer because of that. Well, Tyrod Taylor's now their backup, huh?
Oh, he's a snoozer. Like, at least he'll keep it competitive, but he's a
So
boring quarterback.
that's my question. Now that we're crossing CBS, Fox, all that stuff, like is there's more of a rule now about flexing, right? Like they can flex games out now easier than they had in the past, I think.
Honestly, I don't even know because you got Netflix now, you got Prime.
Look,
all
the
these
Manhattan
they all
Milf,
want a piece.
the Manhattan Milf Hunter had beaten the Chiefs until that stupid PI call. So that one was a little bit disappointing. But other than that, no, I understand. But I mean, the same you can say about the Bengals. Trevor Lawrence,
Joe Burrow, yeah.
Joe Burrow's been
Yeah.
the quarterback, and
He doesn't have
and
6
he's
primetime
hurt.
games.
How many did they have? 4?
I don't know. I forget.
They
But
probably
it's
learned
not,
their
it's
lesson
not
with that one.
6, but yeah.
Well, yeah, no. But I mean, that's the thing. I think people really do want to see if he can recover off of the Achilles. I'm interested to see him. I mean, honestly, that first game against the 49ers, I'm really interested to see what that.
Yeah, good
what
luck
his
against
team's gonna look
Nick
like.
Bosa on the offensive line. Don't get hurt, Aaron
That's
Rodgers.
what I'm saying. Like that's going to be the interesting part about the whole aspect of this is can he stay healthy? Can he move along? But I'm interested. So what did you go with? You said the Eagles.
Gilbert went with
Oh,
the Jets. He doesn't. He that was
oh,
the
you went
quirk
the other
that.
way.
Yeah,
I don't give a crap about them.
yeah.
Wait, what is it? Okay, so
So
okay,
what
my
it
bad.
was the
Oh,
most
they don't have
odd?
a standalone. So they don't have a primetime game. The Cowboys.
No, they
Good,
don't.
good. The only interesting game, I mean, because again, I think primetime games are a little bit overrated. I understand people want to see them, but sometimes the 10 a.m., the 1 a.m., or the 1 p.m. games are more interesting than the primetime games. So obviously you have to leave. I'm surprised that they didn't. But last year, so whenever the Eagles go to the Cowboys, they usually get blown out. So why the hell do you want to see that? Now, when the Cowboys go to the Eagles, that's an interesting matchup. So I think what the schedule makers are doing is leaving that game kind of to be possibly flexed in at the end of the season. That's why I feel like they're leaving both games towards the end of the season when it comes to them. But I don't find it odd because I think one of those games will get flexed in. Cowboys and Eagles are just too big to leave alone. But I definitely I'll go with the Cowboys and
Well,
the Eagles.
the problem with that guy is like Fox needs to have big time games too, and they're gonna let people flex out the
That's what I'm
Cowboys.
saying. But
So they
that's
keep
why
them
when
at
people,
125. When it's like
well,
the
that's why when
Jaguars
people
are gonna play the Panthers at the same time, you're gonna watch the Cowboys.
But and that's the thing. People were freaking out about, why the Chargers only get 3 primetime games. One, last year they completely sucked. And again, I'll say this, except for that Raiders game, the Chargers rarely get blown out. They don't. They have interesting games. Whether they win or they lose, that's another question. But their games are entertaining. They are interesting. But obviously, people thought that the Jim Harbaugh effect would take into place. But Jim Nance said he's like, no, we need like he's like he expects Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers to be the primetime game for the 1 o'clock and 10 a.m. slots when they play because everybody's going to be interested to see how that goes. And he's like, yeah, we need to get fed too. It's not just the national games of the week. Like it's not just ESPN, NBC that need to get fed. We need to get fed as well. So, but I think again, I do think it's interesting that the Eagles and the Cowboys do not have a primetime game. Everybody loves the Eagles. Everybody loves the national ESPN, ABC, all them. They all love the Cowboys. So I'm very surprised that they aren't on primetime, because that's kind of a tradition, especially because of how much hatred there are between the Eagles, and especially because what's name is back. Werner Johnson is back, so he's gonna talk shit. So why not have like I'm interested to see how that's gonna go. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Fernando. And the other thing too that we have to consider, if you look at the schedule, CBS came out the winner of everybody, even over some of the ESPNs or even Sunday Night Football. In terms of the primetime game, Sunday Night Football has the best schedule, but CBS, if you look at those 425 on the East Coast, 125 here on the West Coast, they have a great schedule the whole season. And then it's already been announced that Fox is going to do that 49ers and Chiefs game, the rematch, and Tom Brady's going to be on the call. So, and CBS and Fox are not going to give up those games. They're not going to so you're going to have to choose from other games if you're going to have those flexed in. So that's another thing where the Chargers maybe get flexed in into some of those games as well, because some of those games, Fox and CBS, they're not giving those up. Like, you're going to have to fight with them, and they're already, if you're gonna have Tom Brady doing those and Romo and Nance, they're pretty much scheduled in already. So, in terms of who I'm giving this win to, I'm giving it to Gilbert. I was gonna say I don't want to see the Jets anymore. I'm with you, Gilbert. I don't like, and part of the reason we're seeing them in 6 of the first 11 games is because they're already trying to see. Look, we got to get Aaron Rodgers out of the way because we don't know if he's going to get hurt. I mean, that offensive line, we don't know if it's going to hold up. I've talked about whether it's their field, whether it's that offensive line in terms of how old it is. I mean, we haven't seen Smith. What is it, Teron Smith hold up for the whole season. So there's also that. I'm with you. In terms of the Eagles and Cowboys, you're still going to see them on CBS. The whole nation's going to see them. You'll see them, as what is it, the red zone. If the Cowboys are on, red zone has them the majority of time too. So you're still going to see those two teams. I just, yeah, it was a little weird, but you're still going to see those teams. And just the Jets, I just don't understand it. Like, you're getting 6 primetime games in the first 11 weeks. It just didn't make sense to me. But congratulations, Gilbert. You're now 2 wins in a row.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. I couldn't have done it without myself and my good takes here, so I appreciate that. And also, if you want to watch football, you better have a good amount of money because you got to pay for Peacock, you got to pay for Prime, you got to pay for Netflix, you got to pay for Red Zone. So, yeah,